welcome to the 5th edition of Soulkore Sessions right here at MATV Studios in Malden. I have a wonderful show lined up for you today. We have our first guest sitting with me right now, currently residing in Malden. We have Letia Larok, performer, singer, songwriter, rap artist, and we're going to talk to her today and see what's going on.
Well, I was born in Roxbury. I was living in Roxbury for a little bit. Then we moved to Chelsea, and I did all my school years in Chelsea, and went back to Boston, and now I'm living here.
Okay, wonderful. So, as I mentioned to the audience, you sing, you rap, do a little this, do a little that. So, why don't you just get a little more detailed for us and let us know some of your accomplishments and things you've been doing and how long you've been doing it.
All right, yeah, I mean, like you said, I'm a singer, MC, songwriter, and all that good stuff. I started singing when I was younger. I've always been singing. MCing, I kind of got into, I'll probably say when I was like 14, 15. Started off with poetry, that's usually everybody's transition. Started off with poetry and then slowly started transitioning into, just straight hip hop, MCing. So that's kind of how that started. Performing started, I'll probably say in high school. I was always doing little talent shows and stuff before that, but that's when I really, started to take it serious. So that's kind of the little history of, all of that. My biological father, he's a singer as well. He started out singing, so it's
runs in the family.
Yeah, it's kind of yeah.
So you said you started out as poetry, and that's natural transition. But some people might say poetry is rap, and some others might not. So how do you feel about that, or what do you think of the similarities or the?
I mean,
why is that
it's definitely it is in a lot of ways one and the same. I do agree with that, definitely.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But so you've heard it before.
As far as putting it on a beat, I would say that
exactly.
that transition.
Right. And so, what are some of the places you performed, and or where do you enjoy performing?
I mean, I enjoy just performing, period. But I mean, that's for me to sit here and go through all the places I performed. Let me see. Well, the latest show I just did was at Church, Boston. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Church.
It's
not at a church. Yeah,
church,
everybody, But I mean, everywhere, all around the Boston areas, Cambridge, Western Front, and all that. My next show is actually in New York. I do enjoy performing out of state as well because it's kind of, I like going into environments where people don't really know of me like that. It's it always keeps it fresh and new and, keeps that hunger alive. So that will be September 24th.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
Look for it. And also you've been doing some reggae music.
Well, my family's actually from the West Indies. My mom is from Trinidad, and my stepfather, he's from Antigua. So I kind of, I grew up in that household, a household of, just reggae, calypso, and stuff like that, a lot of roots. So I linked up with This and That band. They also reside in Boston as well. And we did a project called No Bloodshed. So we, just was locked in the booth for probably 3-4 months. And, just came up with the project, and we've been performing. And actually, this woman I know named DJ Nomadic, she actually linked us, Oh, wait, yeah, so, that's kind of how that got started. So, yeah. I mean, and just in general, before I linked with them, you could always kind of hear the influence in a lot of my music anyway, so.
And you've been doing a lot of touring with them, and what's the difference between, from the reggae scene, as you've experienced it compared to the hip hop scene? Is there, is it a lot the same? Or?
No, it's really not the same. I mean, it's the reggae scene is more, the project it's a lot of roots incorporated in it, so it's just more just chill, that chill vibe. I mean, when I prepare for a show with This and That band, it's just chill, you know what I mean? We just know we're gonna enjoy ourselves. But with hip hop, it's more, you got to come, with your game face on, kind of. So it's definitely different energy. You do feel different energy in the two different scenes. But I mean, it's dope.
Yeah, that's really good that you can, go into one fluidly from one area, a genre to another. And as you mentioned, you sing too. So you have a very beautiful voice, which we're going to hear in a little while as well. But also another thing, just from knowing you and seeing you perform, I've heard people talk about how some of whether it's the lyrics in your song or just how you when you perform, how you address the audience, and you speak about God a lot, whether directly or indirectly in your music, or whether you're introducing a song. And I've known people to approach you and talk about how that's made them feel. So it just goes to show how influential and how powerful music and the message in the music is. So what would you say to somebody, you know, that has told you that, you know, how much your music's meant to you? Or do you really even realize that?
I mean, it's crazy, you know, when someone does come up to me and, you know, tell me, oh, you know, that particular song, you know, it spoke to them in a certain way. I mean, that's kind of the intention anyway, so it's good to know that, you know, it's not just performing, it's not just music, there's actually a purpose behind it. You know, I mean, like you said, I mean, at one point, there's a lot that, you know, one day, you know, the listeners will know the whole story, but there was a time in my life where I kind of experienced some things and started, you know, getting more spiritual. So that's, you know, pretty much why, you know, I try to incorporate just to keep the mission, you know, all one and the same. So. Okay.
So the last question I want to ask you before, you know, I'm going to ask you to tell people how they can reach you is, I'm sure a question you get a lot is, you know, being a female in the music industry and some of the challenges you face. Being a female, a very attractive female in the scene, and to be taken seriously, which is, you know, I'm assuming a question you probably get, you know.
Yeah, it's funny,
often.
you know, I always say with that question, I remember in the beginning when people would ask me, so how does it feel being a female? I used to be like, well, why does female have to be? But it was only until later I started realizing, like, oh, okay, I see why. Because, you know, as an artist, you're just an artist. You're not thinking I'm a female or, you know, whatever. Yeah. But, I mean, there's some challenges. I mean, in general, sometimes I think, especially with hip-hop, I hear people say, like, oh, you're good for a female, you know, and sometimes people don't really, I know, you know, not everyone's a big fan of female MCs. You know, sometimes they're kind of just like, all right, this is cute.
They don't
let's
take
see what
serious,
you're gonna say, you know. And so sometimes you got to kind of prove yourself in that aspect. But I mean, you know, I think with everything there's challenges and stereotypes and stuff like that. And I think if you just do what you do, you know, that'll all kind of get knocked out the way anyway. So.
Okay, cool. Well, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to get into a performance. We're going to hear one of your songs now and get into some more of your music towards the end of the program. Some more music from you. So before we do that and we get to hear this lovely voice of yours, if you can let people know how to reach you, how to get in contact if they want to see you perform for a show they may put on, how can they do that?
Well, I mean, you know, the digital world we're in now, it's kind of easy. So you guys can reach me at facebook.com/Letia Larok, Letialarok. I always get Larock and all that. But yeah, twitter.com, same thing, Letia Larok, Letialarok. I'm trying to open up more Twitter. Because, you know, Twitter is people just, you know, all their business out there. So I'm like, all right, you know, I'm getting a little better with that. Twitter, YouTube, if you want to check some of my, you know, my footage out, same thing, Letia Larok, and Reverb Nation as well. So yeah, you guys can just keep up. I have all the information, everything up there.
Letia Larok. Okay, you're definitely going to want to link up with her after you hear her perform. So we're going to get into it right now. Stay tuned and check it out. Thank you.
Girl, you know you are the only one. Letia Larok. Yeah. Okay. Listen. They say there's only one, so I'ma make sure I live it. As far as this game, not of, only in it. Can't be held back by no walls and no limits. If my eyes on it, please believe I'ma get it. I'ma get it. That drives in the veins. Salute to them hills, got that drive through the pain. Never run for shelter, keep that drive through the brain. When them clouds start coming, listen, yeah. Whether you love it or despise or play double sides, choose truth or lies, see the truth is always gonna be. And from that truth, someone hide as if there's no light. That'll soon shine on what's in the dark for you to soon see. Must be why karma strides with her head high. She wanted a few guaranteed, so go on to free. Could only express what it is, so I could only be who? Me. From the rights to troubled wrongs, from them goods to damaged goods that only God could transform. Is he who sees through those conflicts, through those struggles that might have caused some the trouble. Being free and walking in this will for we. Cause that joy to prolong, be at peace, caress your feet, cause either way is he who gon' carry. We. I know it, I see it, he be it, believe it, so with that, they say there's only one, so I'ma make sure I live it. And as far as this game, not of, only in it, can't be held back by no walls and no limits. If my eyes on it, please believe I'ma get it, I'ma get it. And that drives in the veins, salute to them hills, got that drive through the pain. Never run for shelter, keep that drive through the rain. When them clouds start coming in, drops not settling down. Yeah. Listen. Day and night, sun or rain, any weather, whether you're out with. Listen, see you can never hold me down. In this woman, I don't trouble no one. But if you trouble this woman, it would bring up Listen, know what these beats, I'm such a menace with these Pro Tools, such a chemist. 16, spit relentless, any problem I'll diminish. All your talking's just a sentence. Your grind appears every 10 years like a census. Rappers stuck between my teeth. Make a call for a dinner's full course. Y'all meals, appetizers, eat sentence, make room. I ain't finished, I'm a storage for my abdomen. Yes, I am happening. Yesterday's gone, you happening. Miss J, no, but a thriller, I am that. Who's bad? Why ask? You already know the answer to that. Yellow tape, bringing out a homicide is a fact. Cause it's 187 when Larok on the track. Speaking of clowns, epidemics at its highest now. Worse than before. Look like the numbers climbing now. For some of y'all, I could put it to an end right now and tell the world how you with the feds singing opera now. Yeah. Day and night, sun or rain, any weather. Listen, so you can never hold me down. In this woman, I don't trouble no one. But if you trouble this woman, it would bring up
Yeah. Welcome back. We just heard the sounds of Letia Larok giving us some rap on the mic here at Soulkore Sessions. And right now I'm going to chat with our next guest we have in the studio. I got with me my friend, my buddy, Brian Coleman, and Karma from Brick/Traffic. We're going to get into Brick and Traffic and all that in a little bit. But
and Fly Casual. He's a man of many talents.
And what else?
Fly Casual.
Fly Casual.
Fly Casual.
Third label.
Is that it?
Oh, I didn't know.
More?
Okay.
Fly Casual have any subsidiaries?
No. Fly Casual is my label that I run with 7L and Esoteric.
Oh, hence the shirt, 7.
Hence the
7L,
free press.
yes.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yep.
Okay,
So
cool.
it's good to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, Brian, thank you for coming by and
My
bringing
pleasure.
Karma by. So as you can see, we got well, maybe not, but we have a crate of goodies here.
We do have
We're
a
going to
crate.
get into that. But first of all, you know, we met a couple years ago, but you're very involved with hip-hop. Used to have a show called School Beats back in the day that I used to listen to
did.
before I even knew you.
Years ago on WZBC.
Yeah, so you're
So.
a DJ, writer,
Yes, occasionally.
publicist.
Semi-retired writer.
Yeah.
Fully active publicist. And
Yeah.
well, I always kind of was doing publicity, and I would do journalism on the side.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I was a fan, and hip hop
Yeah.
was always my passion when it came to journalism.
Yeah.
And I put out the Check the Technique. Was the most recent book I put out.
Right, which I have.
It was fun to do. It was basically the whole concept of the book was liner notes for hip hop albums that never had liner notes. So that's really basically just called up a bunch of old hip hop dudes and asked them a bunch of questions.
Old
And,
hip hop dudes. Like whom?
Like older hip
Older.
hop dudes than us.
Exactly. It
Other
kind of
no,
runs
yeah.
the gamut. Well, so my original book was called Rakim Told Me,
Yeah.
and that was first in 2005. And this most recent one came out in 2007. That was expanded. So kind of runs the gamut from Run DMC, and I think the latest record I did was The Roots, Do You Want More?
Wow.
Probably. So about a span of somewhere around 9-10 years, quote unquote golden era of hip hop. And I mean, that was the whole thing about hip hop records. For whatever reason, they never did liner notes, and liner notes was always something I loved as a kind of a rock fan and a jazz fan, and I just figured I would go back and correct the wrongs that had been done. Just for the reason was just like you would finish a record and you would just get it out. It wasn't like some conspiracy against liner notes or information. It was the immediacy, I think, of hip hop is get the record done, get it out, and not let's take 3 months and think about it and figure out what the packaging is going to be. And so they always, the artists always enjoyed going back and talking about the old days and the records.
Of course.
Because it's usually, it kind of works out so that it's usually their first record, sometimes their second. But it's really when they were kind of younger and more innocent, and it was more fun for them versus when it became a business and it became their job, and it was when it was a little more carefree. So a lot of the guys from, especially like the ones who you'd think would be the toughest, you know, Schoolie D and Ice-T, they were getting kind of misty, you know.
Really?
Talking about the old days. Well, because they don't really talk about that as much.
Yeah.
And they really seem to enjoy it.
Some people just know Ice-T from like SVU.
That's true.
You know?
That's true.
They don't even know.
Don't know his. Isn't there a new show like Ice-T Loves Coco?
Oh yeah, I saw a little bit of that.
Which is, I think, really about their dog, which is a little weird. But yeah, it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, one thing that I could add to that is I think also the lack of the liner notes or the lack of extended artwork or publicity was the majors thought that hip hop or rap or whatever it was at the time, especially in the late 80s to the early 90s, was a total trend and it was going to fizzle out real fast. So I think that they didn't want to, you know, it wasn't respected like a jazz as an art form of American music.
Right.
And so I think that they didn't go the extra mile. They basically did what they, had to do. And I think a lot of, the rap records, got, put into obscurity, or what's called random rap now.
Yeah.
Is because only certain amounts were pressed. And, there wasn't a lot of push. There wasn't a demand for the packaging. These guys did a few interviews locally, and that was kind of it. So I think, I think it was, more on the discretion of the major labels not taking it as seriously as it should have back then, or as it could be now. So
okay.
Yeah.
So while we're talking to you, Karma, why don't you get into? I mentioned that you're with Traffik, you're with Bricks, and what was Fly Casual?
Fly Casual.
Okay,
yeah.
so why don't you just let people know? And that's actually we're right here in Malden Access Studios, and actually your offices now are in Malden as well.
Yeah.
So.
My name is Trevor Karma-Gendron. I'm the full-time art director and head graphic designer for Traffik Entertainment Group, and we have established our stable flagship office in Malden, Mass. Now.
I'll just show these off as you talk.
And basically, what I do for Traffik full time is we work a lot with, we put out contemporary music as well, but what we've been doing a lot in the last few years is working with major labels, going back, and like what I just spoke upon and what Brian was doing with his books and his chapters and magazine articles and stuff. We're trying to go back and give a lot of the original hip hop records and reissues kind of the look and the proper packaging and treatment that they deserved. So a lot of times we're beefing up the packaging. I'm getting into contact with the original art directors and photographers, work with people like Brian, licensing his work and his writing.
Well, and a lot of the times the stuff that you guys are doing is, like, the packaging you're doing is better. Like, there was never a Pete Rock and CL Smooth poster when the original record came out. So
right, so...
kind of like looking where, I always wish there was, one of these, like, well...
Yeah, basically what I'm trying to do is, as an older, aging B-boy, making packaging of these records that I love and that I grew up on, these artists that I hold so dear to my heart, doing the package now the way I would want it to be originally. So I'm like trying to make these things for like what I would want. Obviously based on licensing, there's licensing issues and budgets and stuff like that.
Right.
But at the same time, I'm taking these as far as I possibly can based on what I would have liked when I was experiencing these records for the first time.
Well, I think the thing that we both try and do is we're both fans, so it's kind of like, what would I want to buy, and what is exactly what I wish it was. You know what I mean? So that's really, I think, why the people who are buying this stuff, which they are, it kind of proves that, hey, there's a lot of fans out there. There's a lot of people like us. It's not just us doing it because we think it's a good idea. Like, we know it's a good idea because we're fans.
People want it.
And whether it's a chapter in a book or whether it's the packaging that you're doing, like, it really resonates with people. And I think in this kind of the iTunes world, the fact that people are buying this stuff proves that a lot of the way that people assume that the record industry is going is not true, or at least not as much as they think.
We're almost taking an anti-digital stance as far as, contemporary artists like Letia, who you just had on, who's a very talented person. It's excellent for her to be able to go straight to iTunes and to be able to sell her product direct to consumers when, she might not have a label or a budget to support her. What we're doing is the complete opposite of that. I'm making or trying to make packages and Traffic, as my distributor label. We're trying to make packages and say, you know what? I already have that on like 12-inch, or I already have it on, cassette from when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I don't like digital. I don't download music to my phone, but I'm gonna see that in the store and like buy it again because it's got a second disc of all 12-inch tracks, or all the instrumentals, or all the acapellas, or it's got photography that I've never seen before. It's got liner notes written by Brian. So it's
because a lot of times, like, the major labels want to do just what's necessary, the bare bones.
Right.
Here's what we'll do, and this is the minimum amount that we have to do and spend, and it'll sell. But I think that what Traffic is proving is that if you go the extra mile and you do an extra booklet and you do this, that more people will buy it, because you have to give people a reason to, especially to buy stuff, to kind of go beyond what the digital world is all about.
And hopefully we're gaining, younger fans that maybe didn't grow up on this stuff as well. And when you have the liner notes, you're gonna have the history, and you're gonna have, I know it's at the click of Google, but at the same time, I'm trying to look for a more organic, more positive, like, I'm reading this, I'm looking at this, I'm not just flipping through it on a computer at the speed of light.
I don't think kids have no idea like how easy they have it these days when it comes to in most ways, but especially when it comes to information about groups. Like, if we had Wikipedia, back when I was kind of a punk hip hop kid in like '87, trying to figure out like, who is Schoolie D.
Right.
Like, I have no, like, how are you supposed to figure out?
I mean, honestly, what I used to do is I would go to Sam Goody or whatever, and if there was a cassette in the rap section that I didn't have, I would buy it.
Yeah.
Or if it was an artist that I didn't know, but it was on a label that I knew, or it had one feature of some other guy that I knew, I just automatically associated that, and I would get it. It didn't matter if they were from Detroit. It didn't matter if they were from Boston. Well, it mattered if it was Boston, because I got anything I could from Boston.
Right.
But you know what I mean? Like, I think that was a different thing. We used to have to go to the record stores and buy the vinyl or the cassettes. I mean, I'm really dating myself now.
What about the 8-track, dude?
Nah, I never had the 8-track. But, I used to have to go and ask, because the rap cassettes were always behind the counter, because they'd get stolen, or they were
used to be back in the day, guys.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely.
And I used to have to go, and if it had a parental guidance sticker on it, they wouldn't sell it to me.
And that's crazy. I mean, it's just, we take it for granted now.
Yeah.
Guys, our time's run out, so I'm sorry, because we're gonna have to have you back another time. But I just want, I know
URLs, dude.
this is one of Brian's books. We gotta check the technique, and I want to end on this. Please let people know you're right in Malden now. Brick Records has been around. You said 15 years. You just had an anniversary.
Yeah, we just had an anniversary. Brick Records, which is my a label that I run with two partners. That is different to Traffic, totally separate entity.
Yeah. Is Traffic more the distribution?
Yeah, Traffic's more of a distributor. That's my full-time job. Brick is my my labor of love and my passion, and all more contemporary, up-and-coming artists, a lot of local up-and-coming artists, but we do nationwide stuff.
15 years is no joke.
15
Yeah,
years.
right
That's
here
where
in
all the
Boston.
you can see the gray hair.
There's a lot of major labels. That don't
15
last
years
that long,
of
so.
rappers is.
Right here in Boston and now right here in Malden. And Brian, how can people get in touch with you?
Not through Twitter or Facebook. So I think the best way is probably the website, which would be Wax Facts, which is wax like vinyl, facts like things you learn.
Not facts
all
only.
one thing.
Yeah.
.com.
Okay, so it's Brian at waxfacts.com.
No, you just go to the website.
Oh, just go to the
It'll send
website.
you
We'll
somewhere
find-
else.
okay.
And like you can sign up for my fan club, and like,
Oh, that's
there's-
stuff.
yeah, it's huge.
You get
All right.
buttons.
Yeah.
I can chat with these guys forever about hip hop. So please look them up. And right now we're going to get into one final song by Letia Larok, and we'll be back soon. Thank you for watching our latest Soulkore Sessions number 5.
Yeah. All right, y'all, this is going to be the last joint before I head out. Thank you once again, Soulkore, for having me. Letia Larok. Yeah. Yeah. Listen. He lives day to day, hustles by the night, hopes to see the day as money stacking, looking right. On his paper chase, somehow he believes the hype. As long as he pack his heat, hey, he okay, he alright. But one thing he ain't been told, many come, plenty go. On that road, many fall the same road and sit home. Trust is nothing, you can easily take that flight. One life, one strike could all be swipe, swipe. What you thought you damn right. Next man's watching, plotting, no option, ready to take your life. Satan in the cut, disguised highs is a thief in the night with hopes to get a hold of your soul. But you say you want that real, that real. That real, got that real. I said allow me to reintroduce that. Sickening the conditions, life dipped in life stripped and fade away. Lost in an illusion, consumed and doomed by the lies betrayed. Screaming to your airways, controlling, holding your dome and then rolling. No Star Trek folding and giving what two think, do and say. Hustle, get your grind, see the mind, we abide by and obey. Greed, jealousy, envy, some envy over the next man's plate. Shots missed through another mom's seed. Another one slaughtered, another repeats. Gets caught up, same cycle repeats every day. One more trapped by war, but forget the war bigger than us all. We're over your soul, the blindfolded, so many of us are. See, we rock around being not seeing. Reason we end up leaving this earth is puppets, they love it, please pay attention. Y'all, deeper than we know. No secret, peep the scriptures is there and exposed. But of course they got you right on this side, denying it all. Y'all is called mind control. But just say you want that real, got that real. I said allow me to reintroduce that. Yeah, thanks for having me, y'all. Letia Larok.